Hey YouTube, this is Down and Dirty Survival. Today I'm going to do a little discussion on a concept that borrows from the idea of line gear. In line gear you've got first line, which is basically what's on your body, and usually some sort of belt rig or limited web gear. Second line is more of a fighting load, where you add a rifle and all the support gear for that rifle. And then third line is a sustainment load, where you've got a backpack. Doesn't 100% apply to survival, unless you're talking about foreign invasion type idea, but that's not what we're discussing here. So borrowing from that concept, you could consider your third line to be sort of your bug out bag. Everything that you need to sustain yourself for either a few days or potentially long term. What I'm talking about today right here is more of a second line concept, but without the rifle and all that. It's what you have on your person, but it's a little more than just filling your cargo pockets with stuff. So what I've got here, the basis of it is a Blackhawk padded belt rig. I've got it spray painted because I do not like solid colors on any of my gear ever. It doesn't blend in with anything. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this belt for this purpose. It does work great, but there are better options out there. But I had this one left over from when I was in the service, so I'm not going to let it go to waste and just sit there. So starting on the far left of what you can see, there's an individual first aid kit, which in this case is more of a blowout kit. So it's a first aid kit. It's got some antiseptics in there and whatnot, but it's mostly geared towards gunshot wounds. So I've got two packages of Quick Clot, the real stuff, not those sponge things, a bunch of bandages, Curlax, sterile gauze, that type of stuff. Next in is a cleaning kit that it will clean AR-15 and 9mm. It's got a couple of bore brushes, some rods, cleaning rods, a bunch of little patches, and the gear to run them through, some lube, and like some brake free in there, and an AP brush, of course. Next on the right is a dump pouch. These are just incredibly handy. It's difficult to list off uses for them, but I swear when you have one on out in the field, you end up using it 98% of the time. It's always got something in it. Next to the right, you can barely see it there, but I've got another picture of it coming up, is a Streamlight Sidewinder. It's a little flashlight that I was issued in the service, and I swear it's got to be the most useful light that I've ever used in my life, and I'll explain why in a minute. Next on the right in that little partially black pouch is a Gerber multi-tool, which is a phenomenal piece of gear. On that blank spot on the far right where it looks like something handy should go, that's where my handgun holster usually goes. However, I recently went through a transition from an HK-US P45 over to a Springfield XD9 Tactical, and I am yet to pick that gun up from the store, and I haven't got a holster for it yet. So I'm going to do another review on that gun later, but for the time being, just trust me, it goes there. Alright, so jumping down into probably my favorite part of this entire rig, and the one that I use and have used the most, is this Streamlight Sidewinder little guy. So as you can see, the head on the right side is flexible, it can rotate around, and there is a belt clip on the other side, and you can even get a helmet attachment for it if you're into that. On the closest to you on the right hand side is that little black knob, and one of the coolest things about this light is in the middle of that knob is a push button that you use to turn it on and cycle through the various functions. But if you pull that knob out and rotate it, click it into 4 different positions, you've got every function the light can do in white, red, blue, and IR. And the functions include 4 levels of brightness and a strobe feature, so it's pretty pretty multi-use. It's a really fantastic tool. So let's jump into the bulbs real quick. So here we see the biggest of the 4 bulbs. It's the white one. Here's the smaller red bulb. There's the other small blue bulb. I'm obviously not going to bother showing you the IR. Wouldn't be able to see it anyway. Here we have the brightness level 1 of the main white light, brightness level 2 of the white light, level 3, and level 4. And like I said, when you turn on the strobe function, it goes to the brightness level and flashes, and that's good on all 4 bulbs. Next up is a black Gerber multi-tool. Super high quality, very durable. Carried this all over the world, and it's absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to list off all the individual tools, as they're probably the same as most other multi-tools, but I can highly recommend this thing. Very, very sturdy, and you end up using it for a lot more than you planned on. And lastly, the contents of my dump pouch right at this moment. This is constantly changing. I'm taking stuff out, putting stuff in. I take it out to train with sometimes, so wouldn't take this to heart too much. On the far left, I've got hops number 9, lubricant. This is not a cleaner. You could use it to clean, but this is used to lube up your weapon, make it run smoothly in some nasty environments. Next up is the pistol leash that I have the female attachment for it already hooked into the belt rig. It might have been buried under there somewhere, but it's there. And they got 2 smoke grenades, which could be used for a distraction or a quick getaway if you ever need it, and a multicam boonie, and then a pair of Oakley gloves, Oakley SI assault gloves. Love those things, absolutely fantastic. I'll probably never use another pair of gloves again. I can't say enough good things about them. They breathe well, they hold up under anything, and I cut half of the forefingers and the thumbs off of mine. I like to be able to feel small parts if I'm trying to manipulate something on a weapon or just working. So in conclusion, this is just my personal take on the belt rig concept. I have no doubt whatsoever that it will continue to undergo various changes in the next couple of years. I know it's changed dramatically many times in the last year or two. This is just where it's at right now. And hence the picture in the background. I try to stay away from anything that I can't justify, anything that's tactical per se. I do not ever plan on being that guy out there in full camis running around trying to save the world. I'm a huge advocate of maintaining an extremely low profile. That's why I don't like solid colors on a lot of my gear. There's no solid colors in nature. Uh, there's no black in nature. I paint pretty much anything that I can. Again, just a big fan of maintaining an extremely low profile, avoiding contact with people at all costs. Still, I advocate carrying a handgun and the support gear for it everywhere, and that situation all hope never happens, in which case you might have to defend yourself. So that's the reason for why I set my belt rig up the way I do, and I would love to hear people's take on it, and comments, suggestions, things I can improve, get rid of, add in, whatever. So see you guys next time. Stay classy, YouTube.